So each of the cosmological powers will undoubtedly show their face at some point or another during this presentation, but these three lured my imagination most: seamlessness, centration, and interrelatedness. And I've subtitled this talk From None to One to Many. And hopefully the meaning of that phrase will become clear as we go along, but I'll give you a hint at the beginning here that they're basically equivalent to seamlessness, centration, and interrelatedness in that order. So, in the beginning was an infinitely fertile womb, an all-nourishing abyss, a nothingness so full of potential that it was unable to contain itself. Now, a full emptiness may not make much rational sense, but nonetheless there was a virgin birth, and from none came one. From the void erupted the cosmos. But then, amidst this young cosmos, occurs another miracle: the emergence of particles, individual centers of autopoietic agency, always already in communion with each and every other. The one that came from none becomes many. What you see here is a simulation of a cloud of atoms about a light year across. We're going to watch them seek one another out over the course of 260,000 years. Astrophysicists call this ancient love of matter for itself gravity. Perhaps this is the original meaning of falling in love. Now, out of this atomic lovemaking, something brand new begins to emerge: stars. But this stellar nursery is no playground. This is a deadly dance, constantly hovering at the edge of chaos and creativity. Individual stars actually begin to compete with one another for matter. Some are ejected before they have enough fuel to ignite, becoming brown dwarfs. Others are destroyed by colossal impacts, or swallowed by massive plasma vortexes. But the creative process is relentless. Countless shining beams are formed from the fecundity of atomic interrelatedness and are flung into the privacy of a space all their own. But these freshly spun stars won't be lonely long. Out of the halo of gas and rock still surrounding their core, planets emerge to receive the radiant gift offered by their solar parent. So, to recap, from the empty fullness of the quantum vacuum came the cosmos, within which emerged the first atomic beings, whose love for one another made the stars. From none, seamlessness, to one, centration, to many, interrelationship. This mysterious trinity is still active upon the earth between we earthlings. Each of us represents a recapitulation of the original emergence of the universe from the creative womb. We come into the world as individuals, and yet we are always already related to one another. How are we, how am I, both one and many? In Chapter 3 of the Universe Story, Brian Swimme discusses what's called the Pauli-exclusion principle. This principle simply states that no two particles can occupy the same state. This principle can be said to assure the irreducible reality of the individual, not only at the quantum level, but also at our human level. But there is a further principle applying to such individuals: the second law of thermodynamics. This law reflects the need that individuals have, whether atoms or human beings, for a continual flow of energy. Any being that fails to exchange energy with its environment will very quickly decay and dissolve. So we are both separate and united, both individual and interdependent. To understand this paradox, we have to delve deeper into the bizarre beginnings of our universe. The explosion we witnessed at the start of this presentation is an inadequate facsimile of the Big Bang, because there was not yet an outside perspective from which to view this most creative of moments. Both space and time themselves emerged from the quantum vacuum. Strangely then, there really is no outside to our universe, nor is there a beginning in time, at least not one that isn't still occurring now. Now please hold this thought until a few slides from now when we'll return to it. So, Lauren Isley once wrote that the human being is the loneliest being on Earth. Our special mode of self-conscious experience, itself an astonishing achievement of cosmic creativity, has thus far only isolated us from the very universe that birthed us. We've gained untold amounts of abstract knowledge about this universe as a result of this self-consciousness, and yet somehow each new fact seems to take us further away from feeling at home here. In an attempt to reverse this alienation, let us reconsider our knowledge of stars. Our own sun can provide us with a model for how the intense centration manifest in human self-consciousness might overcome itself. In fact, the intensity of centration, allowing the sun to actualize itself, may even exceed the centration that creates our special type of subjective reflectivity. The matter making up the sun loves itself so deeply that it cannot help but transcend itself, overflowing in radiance, showering light and warmth upon our planet, giving it life. If a being as massive as the sun is capable of such a miracle, there is no doubt that you and I are as well. If you recall my description of the cosmic creation moment, of the empty fullness that could not contain itself, you will see the striking parallel with the sun. Every being in the cosmos is a recapitulation of the emergence of the cosmos itself, as we said earlier. That means present within each and every one of us is the same mysterious seamlessness from which the whole of existence emerged and continues to emerge. It is here that paradox of our communal autonomy, of our autonomy in communion, gains its mystery. The deeper into our own center we go, the closer we come to approaching the whole. Or, as philosopher and mathematician Blaise Pascal once put it, the whole visible world is only an imperceptible atom in the ample bosom of nature. No idea approaches it. We may enlarge our conceptions beyond all imaginable space. We only produce atoms in comparison with the reality of things. The universe is an infinite sphere, the center of which is everywhere, the circumference nowhere. In other words, looking outward at the vastness of the visible universe may understandably leave us feeling quite alone. But when we recognize that its center is everywhere, that in each of our hearts hides the mystery that gave birth to this unfathomable, uncontainable universe, then we feel not only at home, but recognize our natural inclination to love without bounds. There is no limit to what each of us can radiate, or to the depth of how we interrelate. The universe may not have an outside, but it certainly has countless insides. You are inside of me, just as I am inside of you. It seems we cannot escape each other's company.